All right, we are learning the Chumash, and we're learning about the vessels in the Holy Temple, because it wasn't exactly a holy temple yet, even though it was called a holy temple. It says Osali Mikdash, make a holy temple. It wasn't really the holy temple. It was called the Tabernacle, the Mishkan, and it was portable, and they would carry it around. And it's explained how they would take it apart and put it together. That's explained later on in the book of Numbers. But here we're learning just the making of the tabernacle, and it begins by talking about the ark. Okay, for those of you who don't know exactly what we're talking about, let's have a little bit of a look here. What's going on? Here we have a picture of the layout of the tabernacle. The layout of the tabernacle. Let's just have a. Here's the layout of tabernacles. We have a book. We have a picture. There's a picture over here. I saw it. And it looked like this. That's the Holy Temple. Here, something like this. This is what it looked like, but it's the other way around. Oh, what is that? Why is it doing this? Why? Okay, this is a picture of the tabernacle. I don't know why it's not coming. Oh, here it is. See, in the desert, they would take this thing apart. Here it is. Here's a nice picture. They had even though this is also not accurate because it was a little bit over to the side, over to here. But this is how it sort of looked. There was the outside curtains, and then there would be the altar would be over here. Altar would be over here. In front, there was a tent where the tent was divided like into two. So there was the front part. There was inside. There was like a veil. You go inside of the tent, and you would see this. You would see the candelabra on one side. I don't know why they insist on making the candelabra rounded. The Rebbe proved without any doubt that it was not like this. It was not round. Even though the Titus did, but Titus is not a reliable Jewish source. So there was the candelabra over here and what's this? 1 second. You can't see the picture. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's go back down here. Excuse me. Here. Sorry. Thank you very much. Here we go. Oh. All right. Now you can see. Thank you for telling me. This is what the Mishkan looked like. This is what the tabernacle looked like. Oh, here we go. See, there's a tabernacle. There's the curtains all around the whole business. And then there was a altar over here, an altar that was made of bronze, not totally bronze. It also had wood was inside of it. And then here is the tent. It's called the tent of the meeting. There was a separation here inside. There was like a curtain, and the curtain that divided between the holy and the holy of holies. So here we can see a little picture here. This is let's say this is a very not accurate picture. Here we got a better picture. Here is let's see, can we click it? Let's see, will it get bigger? Went away totally. 1 minute. All the pictures went away. Isn't that terrible? What is this? Bad news. Okay. Why does this happen? No, this is not what I want. See, it was working good until I tried to make that click here, let's try to make this click over here. Here we go. There we go. All right, that's not bad. All right, this is what we're learning about now. Maybe you got a little bit of idea. I didn't want to really get this because it has all sorts of pictures of weird idolatry over here also, which I didn't want to do. Okay, that's what we got. What we're gonna do. All right, let's go back to, can you see what this is? You can see this, yes. We're now talking about the first thing, the first vessel that we talk about in making the temple is the ark that had the tablets in it. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and we're going to continue talking about now. And especially this is what we're talking about in the morning with the covering that has the two cherubs on it, the two faces of the cherub. So here we go. But also Aron Atzei Shittim, you should make a ark which is made of the shittim wood. Shittim wood. And earlier it asked a question, where did the shittim wood come from? Where did it come from? So it says like this. Where did it come from? These are the ingredients, the 13 ingredients. Some people say it's 15 that there were. Where did they get them from? So Rashi explained, this was yesterday. We didn't do it yesterday. Atzei Shittim, right? Atzei Shittim. Where did this Atzei Shittim, where did this Shittim wood come from? Well, Rashi asked that question also, and he answers like this. Am I not sharing this? Why isn't it though? I don't know. What's happening? Please share the page. Well, I thought this was being shared. Thank you. All right. Let's do it again. Here we go. Good. All right. Yes. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me updated. All right. So it says, yesterday we learned that you're supposed to, that in order to make this tabernacle in the desert, that there were all these 13 different ingredients. Some people say it was 15 ingredients because the different types of wool, cloth are different. Each one is 3. Each one is 1. It says, where is this? Here. Some people say that these 3, Techelas, V'argaman, V'tolat Shani, that's only 1. And some people count it as 3. That's what we learned yesterday, because all these are really just silk, but they're dyed differently. Okay, Atzei Shittim, where did the Atzei Shittim come from? So it says, where did they come from? First of all, there was these things you had to bring. One of the ingredients was these skins of Tachashim. Tachashim, what is the skin of a Tachash? So it says Tachashim, it's min chay, it's some sort of like a deer or an antelope or something. Velo hayata, or a buffalo or something. Anyway, it doesn't exist anymore. Lo hayel l'sha, it was only temporary. Maybe it was some people say it was like a unicorn. I don't know. Anyway, it was kosher for sure. V'harba gavanim hayud, it was some sort of skin that had a lot of different colors. Therefore, it says sasguna. That's what the Targum says, bring sasguna. Where is this here? This is the translation of Onkelos, sasguna. Sasguna means many colored. Shesas, sasguna, shesas, that you're happy from the tiferes of Gavani, for the beauty. Let's say, ati shitim, where did these shitim wood come from? Where did they get boards boards from this Atzei Shittim in the desert. They're going through a desert. There's no trees in the desert. What are they supposed to get these things for? So it says, Rabbi Tanchuma, there's a Midrash Tanchuma, it says the Yaakov Avinu Tzafa Baruch HaKodesh, Shatinim Yaakov, Jacob, he was in Egypt, right? So he saw in the Holy Spirit with prophetic vision, Shatinim Yisrael Levinot Mishkan B'Midbar, that the Jewish people were going to build a Mishkan in the desert. Now Yaakov, he died like 200 and something, 50 years, whatever, before the Jews got out of Egypt. So it says that he saw that they were going to build, 250, 300 years down the line, they were going to get out of Egypt, and we were going to build. Getting out of Egypt, he knew, God promised him. So he arozim, so he brought the cedar trees into Egypt, and he planted them. And he commanded his sons. He lived in Egypt. He said, "What is it? Shva'as Shana." He lived in Egypt for the years that he lived there. What is it? 17 years. He commanded his sons also to plant them in Egypt. And when they went out of Egypt, to plant them. That's what so therefore that's where they got all these ingredients miraculously. Okay, now we're talking about making the first thing, and that is you're supposed to make, we talked about all this yesterday, Aron Atzei Shittim. You have to make an ark, which was 2.5 amas long, which an amma we said was like a foot and a half, right? It's like a foot and a half. So this means it was 3 3/4 long, and an amma and chetzi rachvo, and it was 1.5 amas deep and 1.5 amas tall. So it was like 3 3/4 wide, and then it was there we go, 1.5, which would be 2 1/4, 2 1/4 high. Is that right? Anyway, something like that. So it's like 3 3/4 wide and 2 1/4 high and 2 1/4 deep. So we'll see how not accurate these pictures are. Let's have a look and see the pictures. See, oh, this is not bad. Well, it's not that good either. It's supposed to be as high as it is deep. And this is supposed to be a bit longer. So that actually does work. If we look at the other pictures, I would have rather had looked at the other. All right, anyway, that's what it is. And here we have, this is the kaporis, the covering, right? And these are the 2 keruvim that are on the top that are facing one another. Who knows how accurate this is, but nevertheless, that's what we got. They were on the top. This we can see is definitely not accurate, because why? How do I know it's not accurate? Because it says that these 2 cherubims were pounded out from the inside. They took this, it was one slab of gold, whatever, and they pounded it out right on the top. So they pounded it out from inside. So, I mean, you'd have to be a real big expert to make it that the feet came out like this, but who knows? Could be, anything could be. I wasn't there. All right, let's go back. And that's how tall it has to be. All right, but CP also, and then you have to coat it with gold from outside. Okay, one second. What are we making this thing from? This is made from, it says you have to make this ark is from wood. The mark is from wood, 2.5 by 2. That's a measure. So it was from wood, right? It wasn't from gold. So we'll see how it works. We'll see. There was a gold one in the inside, and then there was really 3 arks. There was a three layers, if you want to say. So here's Rashi says. It says Shlosh Aronot Ose Betzalel. Really, there were 3 arks. 3 arks were made by Betzalel. Betzalel made all these arks. There was Betzalel, it says, and what is Eliyav from Matedan, Bezalel came from Yehuda. He was the highest, the most important of the tribes, and Dan was the least of them, and they worked together to make them. So there were three arcs. There were three boxes. Each one fit inside of the other, right? Two fit inside of the biggest one. The inside-most one was of gold. Then there was another one which is a little bit sort of wider, and that was made of wood. And one was made of wood, and it had four walls, and it had, it had in a bottom. The top was open. So there were two arcs of gold, a smaller one that fit in the inside, and then inside of that was the wooden one, and then on the the outside one was also of gold. So there was gold on the outside, gold on the inside, and wood in the middle. There were four walls to each one of them, and it was open from above. Natan shel eitz betoch shel zav. First of all, there was a big one, the bigger, little bit wider, and the one of wood exactly fit into it. Ve'al shel zav, and then they took inside of this wood, they put one that was a little bit narrower than the wood, and that fit inside of the one that was one made of gold, and they fit that on the inside also. So there was like a covering of gold on the outside, wood in the middle, and then a covering of gold, and then a box of gold, which was put in the inside. And then the outside was also, there was a rim of gold. So it comes out that it was coated from the outside and the inside. The outside was gold and the inside was gold. So the ark was really made from wood. That was what the ark was. It was made from wood. The ark was made of wood. Shittim, that's the ark. But the coating of it from the outside and from the inside was gold. And then they made a zer zahav. They made a zer zahav. Let's see if we still have the picture over here. This, see, it's supposed to be the zer zahav. It's supposed to be like a crown. This thing going all the way around it. It's supposed to be all the way around it. How do I go? Once I make this picture, I don't know how I can get away from it. Yes. Good. They make a, it says, Kamin Keter, sort of like a crown around the whole thing. And the outer ark was a little bit higher than the inner ones. So there was the outer golden one was out. And this would sort of cover up a little bit, would fit the kaporis, the covering, which would be on top of it a little bit. So it would like the top covering would fit into it. So it would be a little bit, the rim of the outside golden ark would sort of go above the covering which was put in here. Let's look at the picture again. See, this would go, there was a covering here, and the covering would sort of go inside. See, you can see it go inside. That they made it pretty good, pretty accurate over there. Here he says the Das Zakanim. Here we have interesting opinion. Said really the whole ark should have been made of gold. What's the problem? Make the whole thing from gold, right? In the base of Mikdash in the temple, everything was the best. So why not make the whole thing out of gold? Ella, but lefi nisa because they had to carry it on their shoulder. But it would be very heavy. Gold is very, very heavy. Midai. Even though that says no say, even though that it says that those people who carried the ark when they were traveling in the desert really did not carry it. The ark really carried them. Lefisha, this was only temporary. And this was only temporary, so it was a miracle, and you couldn't rely on the miracle. Right? Vakashali, I have a question. If so, Lama Nanash, Uzzah, why was Uzzah punished? But Tzorachim, we have to understand, also we find in the Mizbeach Hazav, Shetziva, Kodesh Baruch Hu, God commanded, we go Atzeshitim, and to cover it over with gold. And also also the outer altar was also made the same thing, because it was the outer altar where they would burn up the sacrifices was also made of the shittim wood, even though they had fire on top of it all the time, which is a pretty big miracle, and it was covered over with copper. Why? Because they had to carry it. Okay, so here he asks the question, there's Uzzah. Who is Uzzah? Uzzah, there's a story with King David, right? So when did the Jewish people have this ark with the tablets inside of it? From the time of the Torah, right? From the time of the Torah. It says that the Jewish people, they got the second tablets and they put them inside of the ark, even though it says that the broken tablets were also there. So there was also a place for the broken tablets. But so the tablets were inside of the ark. And it says that the ark fell into the hands of the police team. Like we talked about this before. When the Jews came into Israel, they did not build the Holy Temple until after 440 years. In that time, the tabernacle moved. It was in 4 different places. And in one of the places, I think it was in Shiloh, it was destroyed. To look it up. Shiloh was destroyed anyway. And the police team, they took the ark. They took the ark. And when they were bringing it back, so one of the people, it ended up that the ark returned back to Israel. The police team held it, but there was all sorts of plagues and things by them. So they got rid of the ark. And they brought it back to Jerusalem, and it was tremendously happy and joyous. And one person, Uzzah, he decided the ark was like falling, and he tried to touch it. He put it into he wanted to put it into a cart and carry it back, right? To a wagon to carry it back. And he got punished because you're supposed to carry it, but katef yisod, they're supposed to carry it on their shoulder. So he got punished. He died because of this. So he says the question, 1 second, why was he punished? It says it was that they wanted to make it so that it would be carryable, that you could bear it. Why? I have to look up the story again. And somehow or other, I've temporarily forgotten the story. But in any case, he did not carry the ark in the proper way. So he said, what's the problem? You're not supposed to rely on a miracle. Right? He was supposed to bear it on his shoulder, and he didn't. So he says, well, what do you want? You're not relying on a miracle. You're not supposed to rely on a miracle. What was the problem? So he said, we have to look into it. In any case, that's what he found out. That's what it was with the inner altar and the outer altar. The same thing. They were made. It was made of atzei shittim in order to make it lighter. That's what he says. In order to make it lighter, you have to. Okay, let's go. This is okay. You have to make it. Put on it 4 rings of gold, and you have to put 2 of them on one side and 2 of them on the other side. Let's see if we can go back to our picture again, and we can see if we have the 2 things of gold. You can't really see them. They're supposed to be here. No, it's not cooperating. All right, what can we do? No, it's not cooperating with me. Okay, anyway, there's supposed to be a ring over here and a ring in there, 2 rings that are supposed to hold this thing up. 2 of them on one side and 2 on the other side. And then you're supposed to pay 2 badei atzei shittim. There has to be 2 sticks made of atzei shittim, and you have to coat them also with gold, as we had in our picture. See here, it's supposed to be coated with gold. That's these on both sides. And like I said, when the coin, when he went into the Holy of Holies, this is what it was. It was facing like this. It was facing this way. It wasn't long. and they would carry it. When they would carry it also, they would also carry it in this way, the long side, right? The rings were on the narrower side of the ark, these two sides. It wasn't like there was a ring over here and a ring over there, so they would carry it, put the boards, like they put the sticks this way, so it would carry it long way. That's not the way it was. Okay, you put the body into these sticks and to carry it. Inside of the ark, you should put the edut. You should put the Torah that I gave you. Now, this is going to be a bit of a question, because we're going to see that we're going to repeat the same sentence over, that you should put the tablets into this ark. And Rashi says, a Torah, it says, where is it? Oh, here it is. That's the This is not the main commandment, because later on it says it gives the commandment of putting the ark, putting the tablets into the ark. What the reason is why shouldn't you? Why should you put the ark, the tablets into the ark? In order that you shouldn't remove these staffs from it, so that they shouldn't move. In other words, if you remove the staffs, it'll be hard to carry. So yeah. As soon as you put the ark in it, it becomes holy, and you're not allowed to touch it. You're supposed to only carry it with the stabs. The stabs. You're not supposed to touch the ark. The ark is not supposed to be touched. I think that was the sin of Uzzah. That's what because he touched the ark. He wasn't supposed to touch it. He was supposed to carry it with these staffs. All right, here we go. Now, this is what we were talking about before. You have to make a covering of gold, which was 2.5 exactly, that fit on top of here we have this covering here. It's all covering you have to have, and that has to fit on top. Exactly, and you have to make now 2 keruvim zahav, 2 keruvim. What are these keruvim? These keruvim, it says, are faces of angels or whatever. Rashi says, Demut parts of Tinok Lahem. Said they had the similarity of the face of a child. Right? And it says, Miksha taseh otam. You have to make the miksha. Shelo taseh b'fnei atzmam. Don't make these 2 statues on their own and then stick them on the heads of the kapporos, which seems to be indicated from that picture that we saw over here. like welders do, but no, you have to put a lot of gold first of all when you make this covering, and then you have to hit with a hammer and whatever it is in the middle, and then they start to stick out from below. Right, you push them out from the gold. The tzir keruvim, but belitas katsosal, and then you should make a somehow or other to form these statues, these angels from the side. And that's what it says, miksha. So let's see, maybe I can find, there was a much better picture than this one that I have over here, but I don't want to lose it. Let's see if we can try it again. Should we try it again? Maybe was it worth it? I don't know. It's worth it, but we'll try it again. Here we go. Ready? Kli Mikdash. Oh, so this is the same picture we had before, but maybe it'll be better. Oh, we have, huh? No, these are videos. We don't want to have the videos. All right. Not accurate pictures. Okay. Here, maybe this is a little more accurate. Here, here we have here. See, this is the top of it that's the kaporet. This is the ark. You have the two staffs that are here. Here are the two keruvim. Very good. And these two keruvim, they were pounded out from here. They were pounded out, so there would be two big pieces of pieces of gold, and then they would pound them and make them into these two different pictures. And here we have the picture of how it was. There was a big box of gold. Then they would put a smaller box of this wood, and then a smaller box of gold on the inside. It would go inside. But that's the way it was supposed to look. And here we're going to have a picture. This is the showbread. Here's the showbread. This is the next one we're going to have. There were 6 layers, and they would put a loaf of bread, this face bread that was shaped like like the letter U inside. We're going to get to that in a minute. So this I think is a better picture than the one we had. Ready? Let's go. So it said, so it says you have to make 2 keruvim, you have to make 2 of these statues, and from the 2 sides. So you might think, well, 2 keruvim, then on each side you have to have 2. That's what it seems to be saying. So it says no. You have to make 1 from one side and 1 from the other side. The keruvim on the 2 ends. Rashi says, Shalot Tomar, don't think you have to put 2 keruvim on each side. 2 of these statues on each side. No. Therefore, it says you have to make only 1 on one side and 1 on the other side. And you have to make it mina kaporis, from the kaporis, mina kaporis atzmo, you have to make it. That's what it means, mikshata seotam. There has to be one piece. Don't make them on their own and join them to the kaporet. Don't make them. Okay, these keruvim, these statues that we have, they have to be spreading their wings above, covering with their wings on the kaporet, and their faces are facing one the other. Ish alachiv, to the kaporet there should be these 2 keruvim. Don't make them laying down, but they should be, or the wings laying down, but the wings should be above their heads. So says Rashi. How 10 tefachim b'chalal bein akanafayim l'kaporas. There should be 10 tefachim, so it wasn't really that high. 10 tefachim is like something like about 3 feet high. That's how it should be, like it says in the Gemara in Sukkah. Right, the Ramban, he explains. Let's see if we can get to this. That these, where do you get these angels from? What are they? How do you know what angels look like? It says they're supposed to be in the form of these keruvim, and he said that they're angels. The Sephorno, he also says, we already explained that the prophets, it's explained, the prophets already explained to us that these angels, which were appeared to them in their prophetic visions, looked like keruvim. They look like keruvim. What does it mean? Face of a person, and they had wings. And nevertheless, Yoro inyan haseichol hanivdal asher kol haloho letzad maila. Nevertheless, it indicated that there was something which was spiritual. It was above understanding. And that's what it means. Lahabit el elokim, the elokim haskel v'yodea oto. Call echad me'aschilim nivrim. This is because that in order to look at what God is, so there's all these angels that are also trying to do things, they're also trying to do the same thing, and they each creation according to his ability is trying to view God, and that's what he says is one of the purposes of these angels sticking out of the ark. In the morning in the Chassidut, we're learning, that these two angels are how godliness comes into the world through the Torah, because the whole purpose of these angels, these statues, are to cover over the ark, and in the ark was the Torah. That was the whole essence of the temple. That was the essence of the temple, was the Torah, the Ten Commandments. And so it says, therefore, you should put the kaporet on the ark from above and on the Aron, and then put the edut. Here it is again, saying the same thing that I give to you. So they all try to explain exactly what is going on over here. Why do they have to say twice? Rashi gives his answer is to tell you that once you put the tablets in, that you should never remove the kaporet again. Therefore, you have to put the tablets in the first, and then put the kaporet on top. Don't put the covering on first and then put the tablets in after, like to remove the tablets. Here, let's see what Rashi says. I don't know why this is doubled. It already said before you should put into the ark the edut. Remember, we learned this here. We had this sentence right over here. It is. Here it is. Here, that was already said in sentence number 16. And now we're going down here, sentence number 21, and it says the same thing. You should put to the Aaron, put the eidos that I gave to you. So Rashi gives his sentence, it says, I don't know why. It says maybe we can say that the reason is that while the ark is alone and you didn't make the kaporet yet, right? You didn't put the top, then you should first of all put the edut inside of it, and then afterwards you can make this kaporet and make it on top. And this, we also find this also when he made up the Mishkan, when they set the thing up. It says to put the edus into the Aron, and afterwards you put the kaporet on top of it from above. Okay, everybody's asking questions about this. What does it mean? Let's just very quickly. Okay, the Or HaChaim, he gives a little bit of a different answer. And he says that that maybe we can say like this, that the luchos, that the tablets and the broken luchot were also in the ark. What are the broken luchos? Remember, Moses went up on Mount Sinai twice. He really went up 3 times, but he got the tablets twice. The first time he brought them down and he didn't give them to the Jews. He broke them because they were worshiping the golden calf. Well, these broken tablets were also in the ark. Therefore, it says 2 times that you should put the tablets into the ark. One is for the regular tablets, and the one that was for the broken tablets, for the broken tablets. It says tablets with shviri luchos were both in there. Or maybe we can say that he's coming to tell us that even though that the kaporos was above the edut, was above the tablets, which are inside of the, and they're underneath it. Therefore, but the order should be like this: that after the kaporos is made, then you should put in the ark, and then you should put the covering on it from above. This implies that the ark, that the covering also has to be on the top, and that you shouldn't remove it. Shouldn't remove it. Okay. Okay, the Ramban has a little more of a Kabbalistic explanation of this thing. And he says, I don't know why, the same question, why is it double? I already said before. So it says, okay, he quotes Rashi, and he says, but I think it's like this, that the angels have to be on the top, spreading their wings, but it doesn't say why they're made. Why should you make these angels on the top? Where does this come from? Why? And what is the purpose of them in the Holy of Holies? Why does there have to be angels on the top? Just make a covering and that's it. Why does it have to be so? Therefore, it says like this. Now, when you put the kaporot with these angels, these faces of the children, whatever, with the wings, that everything is one in the ark. It says to the Aaron, to the ark, you should put the tablets that I gave you, in order that there should be what's called kisei hakavod. So there has to be what's called a resting place for God, because I am going to come and reveal to you there, and I will make my dwelling place among you. And it says, I will speak to you between these two kruvim. It says, because in order that there was the Aaron will be the place where I'm going to speak to you. Where does this come from here? It says here, this is like the Merkava, this is like the holy chariot that Ezekiel saw. He says, Hachaya, the animals that I saw underneath the God of Israel, Benar Kavar ve'edah, I knew ki kruvim hema, I knew that they were kruvim. So it says that the prophet Ezekiel, he also saw these. Therefore, God is called sometimes Yoshev Kruvim, sitting among the kruvim, because these angels, they spread their wings in order to indicate that they are a chariot, a receptacle for bearing the glory of God. And that's what it says. Latavli samirkava kruvim zahav porsei sochachim ala Aaron bris Hashem kasher iskarti. In other words, what? Don't think that these tablets that are in there, this is just, God sort of left his calling card and then he left. He left. It's not so. That these the tablets that are in the ark, this is containing the revelation of God. And these angels is simulating what there are in the upper worlds. That the angels over there, they are a vessel for the revelation of God. So it's a very, awesome thing that's happening over here. It's not just a relic, a spiritual artifact or mysterious tablets that contain in them, a curse or a blessing or something. This is, we're talking about the essence of God is revealed there, and that's like it is up in the heavens. So it wants to show you how real it is, the tablets that are there. And how do you say awesome that they're supposed to be. And if you want to say, why does it have to be that they're one facing the other one? As you should know that they were spreading their wings above, because this upper throne of God, this is a testimony that what's written on these tablets is the tablets of is the word of God, the will of God. And this is the reason for this whole entire form of this, what's called the upper chariot of God in the upper worlds. Because these kruvim that Ezekiel saw, they were also bearing, it says, the glory of God, which was resting among them. And therefore, these faces of the angels was like similar to these angels that Ezekiel saw. They were higher and higher and higher. And that's the reason that it says that in other words, they were all, they had one purpose. Their only purpose, they weren't thinking about one the other, and there was no jealousy or whatever. They had one purpose, and that is to reveal the greatness of the creator of the world. So therefore, it's to add to the awe and the splendor of what's really going on over here. So therefore, there was Shara be'echad yudam, because they saw the oneness of God that made them one. So they were one face to the others. So it was a tremendously deep thing. Let's just say one more sentence because it's getting late. And I will no'adi l'chasham, and I will make myself known, and I will speak to you from on this kaporos, from on this covering between these two angels, these faces of angels that are on the ark of the Eidos. Everything that I want to command you to the Jewish people. In other words, from now on, God said, I'm going to speak to you from just like I spoke to you on Mount Sinai. So in the ark is the tablets that I gave on Mount Sinai, and the angels like the spiritual levels of Mount Sinai. And from this is going to be the receptacle and the vehicle for my speaking to you. And God, from here on, he gives commandments, like in the whole book of Leviticus, we're going to get to soon. This is all from between the ark. God spoke to him from the ark and gave him these commandments. The next we're going to learn about the shulchan, the bread table, like we talked about before. God willing, tomorrow we'll talk about that also. Have a good day, everyone, with Mashiach now.